Hello, welcome to the Raw podcast brought to you by the Sunderland Echo. My name's James Copley. Today I am joined by George Hodgson, Preston North End reporter for the Lancashire Evening Post. How are you doing, George? Welcome to the podcast.
Morning, mate. Good, thank you. You?
Yeah, very well. Thanks for coming. Obviously, Sunderland play Preston North End at the Stadium of Light on Tuesday evening, so we're going to whirl through a little bit of a preview podcast for you. George, Preston, 16th in the league at the moment. No win in 5, 3 draws and 2 losses. I think the last win came against Norwich City a month ago tomorrow. So Preston not in great form coming into this game against Sunderland on Tuesday.
No, been a frustrating run. There was obviously the win over Burnley in the FA Cup, which was a massive high and sort of kind of taken eyes off that recent run of league form, which hasn't been helped by injuries. They drew with Burnley in there as well, and Millwall are never an easy team for Preston, a bit of a bogey side. So I think the frustrating one was probably drawing at home to Swansea. Felt like a team in and around you, a midweek home match. North End are really good in midweek. Have been for a few years. Very rarely lose games. And you thought on the back of beating Burnley, it'd be great to go and pick up 3 in the league. But I think emotionally going again sort of 3 days later was a bit of a challenge. And they've been hit with injuries in the midfield and stuff. So, yeah, they'll be keen to, as much as they're not really threatening either end of the table, be keen to get back to winning ways. And obviously Tuesday's going to be a tough match.
Absolutely. We'll come to more broader things a bit later on. But talk us through those injury issues, George, and how they'll affect Preston coming into the game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, well, midfield's been hit pretty badly. So Ali McCann, who's been a bit of a regular all season, really, and a key man in there, kind of tempo setter, aggressive tackler. He's going to be missing for about a month. Mads Frokjar's been out, and he's kind of the opposite, a real creator and flair player in behind the strikers, and North End dearly miss him when he's not available. So he's been a big miss in recent weeks. So I don't think he's going to be back for Tuesday. Ben Whiteman, the captain, is back, so that's a bit of a boost numbers-wise, but yeah, them two are certainly a miss. Militano's Majic didn't play on Saturday. Obviously, top scorer this season. So, yeah, certainly could have done with him coming off the bench at Bramall Lane or even starting the game. And then Jayden Magoma was on the sidelines as well on Saturday, a young left wing back from Brentford who's been bright and again would have added something different down the side. So, yeah, been hit a few different areas and then missing a couple of defenders as well.
Are you surprised by where Preston North End are in the table this season? Just thinking back to Sunderland last season, we ended up finishing 16th, and it's pretty miserable actually this stage of the season where there's not a great deal to play for. You're not looking over your shoulder, but you're not looking ahead to the playoffs either. And how much did the Ryan Lowe situation impact that? Because it came very early on into the season, didn't it? Did that destabilise things?
Yeah, massively. Obviously, kind of uncertain time for Preston when your manager leaves after one game and he's gone through the whole pre-season, the whole transfer window and stuff, and then bang, you've lost your first 2 games. And I thought the league this season, you couldn't really see 3 relegation certs or even 2. So, yeah, there's certainly a little bit of concern. And then obviously they went for Paul Heckingbottom, a real sort of steady hand on the wheel. I think his assistant manager, Stuart McCall, massively underrated, maybe not internally, but externally, just a great guy to have alongside him. And they've steadied it really well, to be honest. The issue's just been winning games, really. They've only lost 9 out of 36 under Heckingbottom, but drawn 16. So it's just getting that little bit extra in games to swing it in your favour. But no, I think there's a sort of a positive feeling around the management. And yeah, like you say, it's not going to be an exciting end to the season. 10 games to go, 16th. Looking at the table now, 12 points off 6th, but well clear 11 of 22nd. So yeah, you know the feeling. It's not great, but certainly rather that than be fearing about League One or anything.
Talk us through that Ryan Lowe decision, because I am fascinated by it. It came as a bit of a shock. Obviously, he'd been at the club for quite some time, and to go through a transfer window to get the squad to how he wanted it, recruitment, all of that sort of stuff. Why was that decision made when it was? It felt bizarre.
Yeah, it was. It was it felt like he needed to start the season well, because won't go on too much because Sunderland fans won't really care a great deal. But last season started brilliantly. They were top after 8 games. And And then after that, the form, I have to say, for sort of 38 games was almost relegation form. So the season finished terribly. I think it was 1 win in the last 8 games, didn't score in 7 of them, I think, potentially 6, lost 6 of them. So there was a real negativity around the club, really, despite the 10th place finish. And he needed a good start to the season. I was thinking maybe 5 to 10 games, see how it goes. But I mean, you lose to Sheffield United on the opening day of the season. A lot of people would have expected that. But I think he got a bad reception coming off the pitch. And then 2 days later, went into the training ground and said he thinks he's done, really. And he had always said that if he didn't think he could take it further, then he'd step away. But I'm just not sure what you knew in early August that you didn't know at the end of May, to be fair. Maybe just thought I'll have one more crack at it. And then that match just kind of compounded the feeling and he just had to leave.
Interesting. And what has Paul Heckingbottom been like just as a man to deal with and for Preston generally? I asked that question because obviously he was at Sunderland as a youth teamer as well. And when Sunderland's managerial vacancies have arisen over the years, he's been a name that's often linked, especially if he's out of work. He's a shrewd operator in the Championship, isn't he, Paul Heckingbottom? And probably a little bit underrated, I feel.
Yeah, he's been really good, to be fair. I've enjoyed dealing with him. As you know, you kind of talk to these people half the week and stuff. So it's important to have a decent rapport and, you tend to get straight answers. He's pretty personable. I think the North End fans see him as quite relatable and authentic. And yeah, he's tried to make Preston a little bit more watchable and brave and aggressive. And we've certainly seen that when they've been at the best, nicking the ball high and confident to play out from the back and stuff. But I'd say he's quite pragmatic, really, sort of takes each game by game and tries to nullify opposition strengths and give the players real clear instructions about how they're going to win the match. And all the noises from the players and stuff has been really positive. So I think they're certainly on board with him and are enjoying working with him. So hopefully can go into the summer on a bit of a high and then kind of full pre-season, full summer, give it a right go next year. But yeah, obviously the circumstances he came in this season, it was all about just making sure nothing terrible happened, which he's done.
And do you feel like there's that ceiling under Paul Heckingbottom to sort of aim at in the summer with a full pre-season with a bit of recruitment? Can Preston get back up to challenging, in your opinion?
I think so. Yeah, I think the gap's getting bigger, isn't it? Premier League to Championship and stuff. So you've kind of got two different elements. Can you get in the playoffs? Yeah, potentially. Can you get up in the Premier League and compete? Well, I mean, to me, that just seems a completely different world off. So, yeah, for Preston, it's just trying to get pushing in and around the playoffs like the likes of Bristol City and Blackburn have done this season. Frank Lampard's going in at Coventry. So, Preston have played a lot of these teams this year and there isn't much in it. It's just, like I say, those draws turning very cliche, but turning some of those into wins. And yeah, I'd expect if you have a good summer, obviously going to lose some good loan players, and Emil Rees, I think, has been linked with Sunderland, might be off as well. So it's certainly an important summer and it'll be a busy one. But if they get it right, recruitment's massive for North End. I don't think there's any reason why they can't be sort of in that top half trying to push for the playoffs, yeah. But obviously promotion, another thing.
Well, let's throw it forward to the summer, actually, because I did have a few players to ask you about, George. One was Emil Rees, as you say, linked with Sunderland. I think he's out of contract in the summer. From your understanding, was there much in that? Do you think he'll stay at Preston, or is he sort of nailed on to go now?
Yeah, I think the expectation is he's going to be leaving, so we'll see what happens. It wasn't completely ruled out by the manager because I think Emil Rees has enjoyed playing with him and working under him. But yeah, the noises are that he fancies something new and won't be signing a new deal. So be interested to see where he goes. Obviously, an ambitious striker. He's showed he can score at this level. So I think there'll be a few suitors. Maybe Sunderland will be one of them if they're still in this league next season. I'm not sure he's ready for the Premier League, although might be useful as one of four in your attack kind of thing. Maybe he'll go abroad. So yeah, we'll see. In terms of actual concrete Sunderland interest, I'm not too sure, to be fair. They might have had a look and had him on a list like Sheffield United did. I think he was an option for them, but then they signed Tom Cannon. So maybe something a little bit like that.
And is he still in the team and still playing under Heckingbottom despite the contract situation?
Yeah, he is. He's, to be fair, in the first half of the season, he was kind of the regular, really, starting matches. And I think that's the good thing, that even though this is in the background and everyone kind of knows what's going on, he's still giving his all for the team kind of thing and being trusted to play because you never want it. He's been a really good player for North End for 4 years and, took a chance on him, spent a little bit of money to bring him over from Denmark. So, yeah, I mean, Preston been good to Reece and Reece has been good to them and you'd never want it to end sour. So, thankfully, he's still available and contributing for the team.
Sam Greenwood as well, ex-Sunderland youth teamer. How's he done on loan this season at Preston? He's on loan from Leeds, isn't he? He's a player I always really liked. He actually scored against Sunderland as well last season. What have you made of him?
I think it's worked out a little bit similar to Middlesbrough last season, whereas brilliant first half, or certainly a key player in the first half of the season. And he's kind of drifted away in recent weeks, and you're just kind of urging him to get back to the levels he showed, because at the start of the season, I mean, North End have an option to buy him in the summer, and I think all the talk was, oh my word, we need to get this done kind of thing. This guy's top quality. And you can see his technical ability. He's come through at Arsenal and stuff, and you can see that in him. He's got a terrific free kick, a real nice, technical, tidy player. And I'm not really sure what's happened in recent weeks. He's not been horrendous by any stretch, just not quite as influential. And it's a tough, grueling season, isn't it? So maybe it's taking its toll a little bit. But no, I love the way he plays. Like you say, he's got that quality, but he works his absolute socks off for you every game. So certainly a likeable player in that regard. But now you're not sort of sure if North End will go back in the summer or maybe try and get him on loan again. So we'll have to see. But yeah, just trying to finish the season strongly, Greenwood.
It worries me, George, that you say he's out of form with him being an ex-Sunderland player, Sunderland supporting family coming to the stadium of like, that's a game for him to get right back in form, isn't it?
He hit the post at Bramall Lane from 20 yards on Saturday, so he's getting a little bit closer. His shot's terrific, so yeah, maybe he'll zing one in from 30 yards.
Yeah, and he's expected to play, is he, under Heckenbottom on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'd say Dwayne Holmes is another injury. He's an attacking midfielder, so if Frockyar misses out again, yeah, I think obviously you might factor in that connection with the club and stuff. So yeah, might start.
And will Heckenbottom have to rotate much from the side that lost against Sheffield United at the weekend? I just ask because I think Sunderland, you probably see a couple of changes just given the intensity of the fixture list before the international break.
Yeah, I think Ryan Ledson potentially comes into the midfield, and I think he was hoping Magoma and Osmajic might be fit, so another couple of options. But yeah, I'd only expect, given the injuries, maybe 2 or 3 changes to Preston's team.
Alan Brown might start for Sunderland against Preston North End. He started Sunderland's last game, 2-1 win against Cardiff at the Stadium of Light. Recently returned from injury. He suffered a broken leg, but has looked decent for Sunderland. Were you surprised by his exit from Preston North End in the summer, given how long he'd played for the club? He's a good stalwart, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a real shame. I think he loved the club, really, Alan Brown, and you were kind of looking at someone that could have broken the all-time appearance record at the club. Genuinely, I think he was about 100 or something off. So yeah, it was gutted to see him go, to be fair, almost as a player, but also a character. He was a big presence, really, a leader and sort of standard setter. And it was a blow to lose him. And I think he could have been really useful at times this season as well. But in the end, I think the writing was on the wall with Brown and made the decision to move on. Not really spoken about why that was the case too much. We would love to talk to him about it. But yeah, he's thought of really highly. And I think it was just a case of where he was going to go. And I thought his interview with Sunderland when he signed was terrific, really. Spoke very well, and you can see why that appealed. They're a massive club. And he obviously saw something in the manager at Sunderland and thought, yeah, this could be good. And he was right, wasn't he? So, no surprise he made a good decision because he's a really intelligent, switched-on guy.
Yeah, we were buzzing to sign him in the summer. Just with his experience and everything that comes with it, he's obviously quality on the ball. His work rate and his energy is absolutely fantastic, and it was a shame that he got that broken leg. Talk me through, George, how Preston North End play under Paul Heckenbottom. I've seen obviously Sunderland play Preston twice this season. We played them in the Carabao Cup right back in August. That was a very different game. I think you were under Mike Marsh at the time, weren't you? And the 0-0 at Deepdale. The 0-0 at Deepdale in the league, I've forgotten all about it, to be honest, because I think it was just so boring. So how do Preston play at the moment?
That was one of our better draws, to be fair. More entertaining.
Was it?
So yeah, you've been blessed this season. But yeah, back three still. But it's a lot different, really, to under the previous manager. It's a lot more kind of fluid. Not the players just stood in their positions. He said the other week, I don't want my right and left centre backs to be kind of bookends. They've got to go and join in with the play and stuff. So yeah, like I said, a bit more watchable, and they try and be aggressive where they can, hunting the ball high, because I think that's a great way for North End to create chances. They've not got tremendous individual 1v1 quality and stuff, but there's no reason why they can't be kind of as aggressive and fit, as energetic and horrible as anyone. So yeah, they've been decent away from home a lot of the time since the turn of the year. So I'd expect them certainly to go and compete at the Stadium of Light. To be honest, that they tend to. Preston, they're rarely rolled over. They're always in games, and there's going to be a decent kind of plan and structure there. It's just whether they can find those moments. So yeah, I don't think it'll be easy for Sunderland, but say the favourites going into the game.
You mentioned the plan and structure, but how do you think Preston will approach it in terms of, will they come and look to really press Sunderland and be attacking, or will they perhaps set off a little bit? I mean, Sunderland started really well against Cardiff, and they tend to start really well at home. If they can get that early goal, they tend to do quite well in games, but if they don't, they sort of shrink into themselves a little bit. And the home form, weirdly, despite Sunderland having only lost once in the league this season, the home form and performances have perhaps come a little cause for concern. There were draws against Plymouth Argyle in there. There's been little slip-ups at home from Sunderland. So despite the form being really good, it is a little bit of a concern, which is strange.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think we went to Norwich recently, and I kind of expected a backs to the walls thing, and they just went after Norwich. But Norwich do kind of play out from the back religiously, so that was great to see. I think, yeah, they certainly won't come and just stick 10 behind the ball. They'll try and pick the moments and go toe-to-toe with Sunderland, and because they've got nothing to lose, really, so there's no point going up there on a Tuesday night and just trying to play for a point. So I'd hope to see, if Magoma comes in, he's loads of energy down the left and stuff. So I think hopefully North End will try and press and nick the ball and carry a threat on the day. But I think they'll obviously respect Sunderland for the attacking quality they've got, especially in wide areas and stuff. So yeah, ambitious but not stupid, I would imagine, on the night.
Oh, well, that sounds like it could be set up for a good game. George, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, where we can find your work in the build-up to the game on Tuesday, if people would like to read a bit more about Preston.
Yeah, just the Lancashire Post. We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook. Do a podcast as well, Preston North End Weekly, and we'll talk about the game afterwards. So if anyone wants to go and listen to that, can do. It's on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, brilliant.
Well, thanks, George. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to the listener for tuning in. As always, you can also head over to the Sunderland Echo website for all of the latest build-up ahead of the game against Preston at the Stadium of Light on Tuesday. We'll also have coverage from Regis Lebris's press conference and all of that good stuff. Thank you once again for listening.